Okay, I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Town of Fraser's regular board meeting to order on May 3rd, 2023, 7 p.m. Can I please have your roll call?
Peter Fisher, Elaine Waldo,
Brian Sigmund. Arnold Quinn. All candidates. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? That's approved. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Next is the consent agenda, which only includes the minutes for April 19th. So moved.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So now we're at the open forum section of the meeting. This is where the public can address the board. We'll raise if you're here in the building, raise your hand. I'll call you up to the podium, come up to the podium, state your name, and if you live in the town of Fraser or not. Don't need specific addresses, but just if you live in the town of Fraser or not. Online, it'll be raise your hand digitally. You'll get the same 3 minutes. Everybody gets 3 minutes. We have a timer going. And that's it for that. So anybody here in the building? Yeah, you get one shot. Yeah, come back up. Yep, sir. You want to come on up and sure. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I need this. Yeah. All right, you ready? Starting up here now. My name's Joey. Some of you may just know me as the fuck the police guy. That's what they think of me. I'm not. I'm a fuck the bad police. Horrible police. I have 4 complaints against the chief back there for failure to activate his body cam. There's no footage. Nothing done. Under his policy, if you need a copy of it, I can get you my email and I'll send that to you. I didn't know how to do open records request. I'd never posted a YouTube video before I was arrested for a cracked windshield. A cracked windshield. You have to understand, last year in this county, I was put on trial twice. A jury trial. Once I was struck in a parking lot as a pedestrian. Second, I had a cracked windshield in this county. The worst part, that's not all the leadership. The leadership at the Fraser Winter Park Police Department, which why you haven't seen me is because you have no accountability for this issue, because you've given it all to the town manager at the city of Winter Park. And that's disgusting. I'm sorry I didn't start with it. PO Box 776, Fraser. I should have started with that. I've lived in the community since '94. I started behind Dino's in a trailer. Commander Ransom got on the stand under oath and lied. And when I filed a complaint about it, in the complaint, he says it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue that he stood in front of a jury of my peers and lied to them. That's the leadership of our police department. I got 30 seconds. I got to move on to the police department. The town of Fraser. Primary ADA. Who's the secondary ADA? Who's the secondary? The town has more than 15 employees, right? There has to be, by federal law, there has to be a primary and a secondary. It's probably why he sucks at his job so bad. You need some serious help. Sorry, I ran out of time. I could go on. Thank you, Joey. You bet.
Okay, anybody else here in the building who'd like to address the board for items that are not on the agenda? Okay, anybody online? Do we have anybody online?
Okay.
No, no hands coming up. Okay, going once, going twice, done, thank you. We always do appreciate the public's input at our meetings, so. Next is the proclamation annual professional municipal clerk. So it's the 54th annual professional municipal clerks week, which is April 30th through May 6th, 2023. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens of the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Philip Vandernail, Mayor of Fraser, do recognize the week of April 30th through May 6th, 2023 as Professional Municipal Clerk Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Antoinette McVeigh, and Deputy County Clerk Leslie Crittenden. Did I say that? And to all professional municipal clerks for their vital services they perform and their exemplary dedications to the communities they represent. Dated this third day of May 2023, and a heartfelt thank you from myself to all clerks, and especially to the two clerks here at the town of Fraser. So we can give a thank you. I will maybe get to.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next is the discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2023-0501. Contact with Rapids for water and wastewater rates, but and Lucas and Lucas's name.
Hello there. We're requesting that you authorize the town manager to sign a proposal from Leftelis to create a rate structure recommendations for the town's water, sewer, and impact fees. The amount is for here. The amount is 53,375. And we have a directed budget from this year as $90,000. 45,000 from engineering fees in the wastewater fund, and 45,000 would come from the water fund. The review and adjustment to the town's water and sewer rates was recommended by town staff in 2022. 2023 budget directed $90,000 to be used for the water sewer rate study. Adjustments to our water and wastewater rates are recommended by town staff due to the continued increase in customers, aging infrastructure, the rising costs of materials and services, and proper budgeting for planned capital infrastructure projects. To provide transparency and objectivity in rate adjustments, best practice is to conduct a rate study and provide recommendations for potential rate structures. Once the study is completed, the consultants would submit the recommendations to the town. So the board of trustees may have the information needed to approve and set new rates. Town staff posted a request for proposals on 17th of March 2023. 2 bids were submitted to the town on the 14th of April. After being reviewed by town staff, Raftellus was selected as the most qualified candidate to conduct the study. Again, the estimate came in as $52,375, and the budgeted amount is $90,000. The staff recommendation is to adopt the requested action as a motion.
Any questions?
So you have one other company that you looked at?
Yes,
What was their bid?
their bid. We have that one.
So their bid was significantly lower, but they had no, they were not responsive as they didn't provide any examples of rate studies that they had completed.
Always the best.
And Raftellus has significant work in the mountains of Colorado and significant work on the Front Range, and was recently done a study for Breckenridge, as mentioned earlier.
Did you check with Breckenridge? And they happy with their time?
The references I've checked were very happy and said that they were very competent in their field.
Interviews went very well with them. They knew the answers to questions that I haven't even asked yet, so. They're familiar with the challenging communities similar to ours.
How long are these rate studies good for? If we do one today, is it good for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years?
Roughly 5 years, it would correspond with the water efficiency plan every 5 years, I think. And then you reevaluate your CIP before you finish it, so every 5 years.
So I understand we budgeted for 90,000. But since our bid came in at 54. Do we want to keep 90 in the proposal, the ordinance, or
The additional funds allow for change orders or something we may see that needs to be added to the RFP. Time, but there's contingency in there for overruns, and if the board requests additional presentations, it leaves room for that.
we usually go 15%, I think, so. It's fine with me, but it seemed like quite a bit. Allowed for Friday.
Definitely overkill, but I suppose once it's done, then we can decide what to do.
Correct. Well, that was based off from merit, right? Was that 90,000 from merit?
They were a little bit higher, and we just budgeted at 90, thinking we can get it for 90. We ended up getting it for 54, but want to leave room for, never know what can happen when we actually get the information.
That's based on other rate studies been done before, so. They're saying 54 is really good for one of the allows flexibility, but also keeping them accountable to the contracted prices.
Last time we did this, we had a. We're just getting the trustee on the board. Anyone else remembers that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what it's all platform.
That's the only reason.
Hey, any further questions, motions?
With the resolution, someone can approve the resolution. Critical resolution.
They had to authorize you to sign the contract.
All right. We need to make a motion to offer.
So we need to make a motion to approve resolution 305.
Move to approve resolution 2023-0501 contract with Raptos for water and wastewater.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, next is thank you. Next is resolution 2023-0502.
Mayor, Board of Trustees, before you tonight is consideration for merit's proposal for the 2023 construction management and inspection services. Little background, Merrick is currently providing this service through the 2022 calendar year. Provide project management for the 3 town capital project improvements. Byers water line, the sewer main replacement, and the Lions Pond bathroom. They're also providing infrastructure inspections on development to make that a more streamlined process. And the current agreement continues these services through April 15th, from April 15th through December 31st of 2023. Construction management of capital improvement projects are included in the current approved budget. Construction inspections for development costs are the previously approved rates included in the master agreement for professional services. And then development costs are then passed through to developer per the subdivision improvement agreements as applicable. The recommendation of staff is that the Board of Trustees grant the town manager the authority to sign the Merit Construction Management and Inspection Services contract. Any questions?
So you say it streamlines the inspections.
So since I've been here, the 2 inspections we conducted with Merrick have gone very well and has allowed us to, as we did at the last board meeting, grant final approval to Elk Creek filing 3 and 4, Elk Creek condos phase 3. It's just helped us get through that process and make it, in my opinion, more clear on what the expectations are on both staff and the developer. And then they're currently running weekly, bi-weekly construction meetings with our contractor Conroy on the Byers water line and the sewer line, and have provided lots of engineering background on the Lions Pond, since that's kind of been haphazard.
Does this make Merrick more of a employee of the town, or does it make him still just another arm of the town that still send referrals to?
This has nothing to do with referrals or anything on the planning side. This is just on the inspection side on the end of a project when we're trying to get preliminary acceptance or final acceptance. They're going out and doing the infrastructure inspections.
I just know there were lots of complaints before you were here from small developers with the inspections and how hard it was to get them scheduled and when people would show up.
So since I've been here, we have coordinated with the developer to coordinate those inspections together so that we're working together, so that we're there and they can have, especially as these were during the winter, that their staff would be there to uncover things so that we weren't, Merrick wasn't coming up here to do an inspection and then goes right back. So trying to get a coordination and communications, the developer knows when we're coming to do inspection, the inspection is done and everybody knows what's happening.
And there's not a good local firm we can get with those inspections.
I'm not aware of one. If you want us to research somebody else to perform inspections, we can do that. We could be putting out an RFP, and then we'd be delayed and have no construction inspection until then.
Well, how do we do it before Merrick came along? He's only been with us a year or so.
I'm not sure. We had untrained staff doing it.
But I mean, what other planner?
Well, I just, go back, way back to Todd.
Yeah.
He did-
Well, the board wants our planner.
He was quite knowledgeable.
Yep, I thought it was good. I mean, I'm trying to get all our people local again because that area, people aren't working as well as they're supposed to.
Yeah, but we need to fix the meantime. We have position. Yeah, if that's the direction the board wants to go. We think we need to transition to that.
No, right.
I think there are some cost savings regarding this being an additional branch with Merrick. They did our inspections last year, and this year they are our engineering firm that we do work with, so there's the good communications there versus working with an additional inspection firm. That's gonna have to ramp up with Merrick and their process and their new standards. Seemed like it's worked very smoothly. I think we've learned a lot last year and improving that ability to complete these inspections and set the expectations for the development community. Seems like the solid path forward.
Seems like there's a lot of travel time involved.
So this contract has them up here. A day and a half every week for
Okay.
inspections. It's not during the summer and then. Off season, it would be similar to what we did so far. This year is scheduling with the developer and Merrick on a time when it's convenient for both to be up here.
So there's no specific times.
Not off season, not after October 15th or before April 15th.
No, I'm talking regular time.
But they're still gonna have to call in the schedule so that because we can't do 27 inspections on one day. We know who needs an inspection, but I think. Good communication with developers and. The town is how we achieve that, and I've worked very hard since I've been here to improve communication so that. The developers know what my expectations are and I know what they're looking to do and. We've worked forward well on the two that we've done so far, and we're working on 2 more finals now.
What system does Winter Park and Granby use?
I do not know.
That's what I'd often hear is that Fraser's the worst. So, yeah,
So I guess my answer to that is Fraser's the worst at following our code. Or the worst at doing what?
Getting
Saying,
developed.
saying we're the worst, but we're following our code. So I don't feel like we're the worst if we're following our code, and if the board would like the code changed, then we need direction to change the code.
no, it didn't have to do with code, it had to do with scheduling and showing up for schedules, I believe. That's the way I understand.
I think it's a communication issue that I've worked very hard to rectify since I've been here.
Paul's been doing a great job with this team and setting expectations even for baseline and for merit and for what types of activities they need to be involved in, and which ones they don't need to be involved in. So Paul's done a good job with that, his team and that, and always room for improvement, I agree, but the professional inspections for us accepting infrastructure and accepting that maintenance burden to some degree, especially as things age. Infrastructure is very costly to maintain and ultimately replace, and ensuring they're in proper condition for all these different things that we're accepting. I think it's important.
No, I don't disagree. Of course.
I don't agree with that.
So this resolution is just gonna bring it through the rest of the year.
Right, just for this year, and then hopefully next year, looking at getting a renewable contract that's renewable for a certain number of years. At a set increase, so that we're not constantly coming to the board to grant the manager approval to sign a contract.
So we're already kind of behind the 8 ball here, so. It's May
Yes.
already.
So they had to continue to do the work, but. We had some contingency left over from last week.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-5.
I second.
Any further discussion?
Just I'd like to see what the total bill is at the end of the year. How much does this cost the town to have this range?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well. Next is ordinance 498, amending chapter 13, article 2 regarding water.
Yeah, so the matter is to recommend maintenance and repair of water meters. Town code currently restricts the maintenance and repair of water meters to being performed by the town. Code change will strike the language that the town is. So that the town is performing the maintenance or repair, allowing for these services to be provided by a licensed contractor. Hired by the property owner while on site for other services. It also, as was mentioned during the work session on the continuous read meters, if we were to hire a contractor to install those, this gives them the ability to do so and not be in violation of the code. So the recommendation from the staff is that the board approve ordinance 498, striking the language requiring maintenance or repair of water meters to be performed by the town to allow for work by licensed. So right now it's limited to just town staff.
See the sentence there, but there's no replace it, or
It was just to allow them, it's removing the burden of,
it's okay legally, but it doesn't have anything more attached to it.
I would. So we can change that, fortunately, Monica is no longer here to speak to that. So taking it up as best I can. I apologize. We can add specific language to that.
That's my only concern, I'm totally fine with.
But we get to get that language changed.
We have our attorney. So we could ask our attorney for legal advice on this. Right? He's here. Yeah. You can.
Mhm. Do you unmute?
Why can't you just add it, needs to be done by a licensed contractor?
We can add that language.
We could make a template first.
Philip, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the audio. Can you repeat your question?
So we've struck a sentence from the municipal code. And I'm just wondering if we need to add a sentence in that kind of covers this, that basically says any licensed professional can do repairs or something along those lines, or is it fine that it's just that sentence is gone?
And so, Paul, is the understanding that we're trying to put the burden back on the property owner to do the maintenance and repair of water meters? Is that the idea?
The idea is to, no, not place the burden back on them. It's to allow both the town and a licensed contractor to do the work. Or if we have to hire somebody to replace all meters to go to a continuous read system, then we can have a contractor do the work. But I think the suggestion that just change to add language would probably be better at this point.
So you have staff that can do this now. So basically you wouldn't strike this sentence, you just would add
Well, so
by the
we
town
could,
or and
I think we can add or by a license.
or by a licensed contract. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that works, just to not strike that language, but to add that qualifier on the end.
We'll have that change made.
Probably still pass the motion.
I think we could. Yeah. If somebody wants to make that motion.
All right, I move to approve ordinance number 498, amending chapter 13, article 2 regarding the water meters. With this change, we will, the sentence that has been struck will remain. But we will add by the town or a licensed professional.
Second.
Does it does it need to be specific to what? Licensed professional?
I will put licensed plumbing.
There.
Yeah.
There. That's why I need. You want to amend your motion? We'll say. Yes. I know, I've seen that.
So, yes, I'd like to make an amendment to that motion. That says that sentence will say shall be performed by the town or by a licensed.
Plumbing.
Okay. You want to take your second again? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Okay. Next is the bank facility oversight committee agenda. Michael and Joe.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. Before you is the proposed agenda for the JFOC meeting that will occur on May 11th. Part of that will be the we removed a fast moving greens was approved the last meeting. So we be showing the ordinance changes and the resolution approving that by the town.
Joe, do you want to speak to the Tetra Tech contract? Do we have that in place yet?
Oh,
Or do you think
yeah,
that will?
we have it. There's some recommended changes that are mine.
Okay.
And for your all's attorney to review.
We will also be discussing the industrial pretreatment option one. That was directed by the board as far as moving forward with addressing industrial pretreatment programs. We'll provide a staff briefing, the handout that was posted to the board at the last meeting for option one and option two. Talk about our methodology of why we're going with option one to move forward with project N to better address the industrial waste coming into the treatment plant. Along with that, I don't think it was approved, it was just group guidance. And then we'll speak to Joe will provide a discussion covering the response to the recommendations regarding the Jacobs engineering concerns and things that they recommended as far as being addressed at the GFC and the wastewater treatment plant. And then lastly, we will present the independent manager study that we presented at the last board meeting. Discussing the town's concerns. And that will also go to a vote at the GFOC for each district to approve or deny moving forward with that proposal to do the independent manager study for the wastewater treatment. Answer any questions?
I just want to make sure we're clear on the votes. Who can vote? And it's kind of the number required is kind of convoluted. So just so that we know what we're doing eventually. It's not a simple majority. And I don't have my bylaws here, but
I can get you the answer to that question.
just so we know that I don't need it.
Like, we need it.
We need it.
We need a time. Yeah.
After.
Prior to that.
And then you both, Cardell and Eileen and myself are the town's representative, the ones, the voting members from the town of Fraser, so we want to make sure you guys are there.
Wait a minute.
It's affirmative vote. No. And at least one member from all districts has to vote in favor. So if you have a majority, it still has to be at least one member from each district.
But it's not a simple
No,
majority, I don't
no,
think.
so it would. If to play out item number 8 here. If that went to vote, or when it does go to vote. If Grant County number 1, all of their members vote in favor and all of Winter Park vote in favor. It would take one member of the town of Fraser to vote in favor for its pass.
So there's no way for them to override us.
No,
But all three of us should be there and.
Yes.
And all three of us have a vote.
Then it's 3, and 3. Right.
yes,
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? How's that?
Three.
So moving forward, the guidance has been to, before each JFOC meeting that we have on a quarterly basis. Whichever town board meeting occurs before that, we will review the agendas so that we have everyone on the same page. And have, and the representatives on the JFOC from our town board has a good understanding of the direction the town wants to go.
And I assume when we get this finalized agenda, it will have attachments to it.
Yes.
And we'll have just as much as the other districts have. That has been a problem.
Do you want those attachments in the town board meeting or? You just want to get it? Moving towards.
I understand. I think this is fine as long as when we get the agenda, we have the attachment. That- Good job.
And that agenda has also been approved by the other managers of the other sanitation. district in the line.
Okay, any other? Nothing, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
Next, the Mountain Park Electric Director election. And there's 4 candidates, which you was in the packet. Did you guys prepare us a little voter? We can go out. You're just gonna Go by,
You can't do a blind vote, but I do have the ballot.
and that's what I mean. We each have to cast our vote for who we want. We can't do it blind. But did you prepare us a little, or do you just want to go around there?
I did not, so.
If we could do that moving forward, stuff like this, so that there's, we just put our name on it and we can start full track on it.
Okay, sorry.
So as a group, we have one vote.
Correct.
So. Let's start here, I think. And we'll go around.
Does anybody have any, preferences or deletions that they want us to know? Anybody campaigning for anyone? You saw.
I don't know any of these folks, so. Everybody, I give us a read.
Yeah,
So
you does. I agree.
We have here in the.
I know it's on the paper, but that's all I.
And it's in the-
saying you got the voted person. So what type of qualifications should you have for this position?
Well, I like the 2 bottom, Ryan and Christine, if that helps you with the qualifications.
I think they all have good qualities.
Yeah, they're all good people. You're looking for an engineer, you're looking for an attorney. Where are you? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you should have on the credentials to get on this board. The question.
Yeah.
Or what,
We should have invited them here.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Next, can we do that next time, Dale?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm getting in the voting booth, and I don't know any of the okay, whole other.
It's really hard for me to eliminate anybody. I think I'm going with Joe Smith. And that is a real person. Yeah, right.
You come back.
I'm gonna go for Ryan.
I might vote for Ryan as well.
What's wrong with us? I'm gonna vote for Joe. Like the first guy, but Philip.
I like him.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Ryan. Sounds like 3 to Ryan.
Yep, Ryan Zorn is the winner.
The updates.
Bring us here.
It is not.
I'm walking the snow.
I'm going to the staff meeting tomorrow, which is the state transportation advisory committee. Person, it's a monthly meeting, but this is essentially kind of see that tomorrow morning.
Why does it have to be in person? Is that what we have to wear?
Just, you don't, so there is a link, you can watch, you can participate via Zoom, and that's not every other meeting's been so far since I got on this. But this one is.
The option is in person.
Right.
And when you say going down to see that, where to see that?
in Denver, if I can remember where the building is, it's right out, it's pretty close to. Stadium.
Okay, that's close enough. And I see that representative lives in Fraser. Everett.
So the person who's in charge of the Northwest Transportation Planning Region is.
You tell them what a hazard it was to drive down because they didn't have the option to do it. So put your life at risk because of the pothole, so.
You said this is Lee.
We want to watch it. Cheer.
Absolutely.
Video. People all try.
Hit every pothole.
That's how it comes.
And we're gonna use 2 or 1.
Thanks for beat them.
Yeah.
Any other updates?
Speaking of highway boarding, see that it seems to be having a larger team coming in next week. They're pulling larger regional teams from the Pueblo area. That's something that Paul has pointed out as well, is we have some of them doing work on the roads. If you see somebody working on Highway 40 with their lights on, please slow down and be cautious. It's a dangerous thing working on Highway 40, so please be patient and take your time to get around them instead of trying to in a hurry.
There was some behind them, I feel, we have to roll down your window and scream, thank you.
We're not the only ones that have probably.
No.
Just drove all over the state.
I just saw a bridge everywhere. I saw a bridge, an overpass that we could actually see this massive hole. It wiped out several cars last night. The pothole, you could see the rebar roll through, and it's.
Remind people how the vote went in 2018.
Down.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Jenny again.
Can you imagine how many pennies we have that in 6 how many years? 7 years?
Much of it are complaining.
It's our fault. Well,
It's the voters' responsibility. Good financing. Okay, any other updates? Sorry, you done. Okay, I lost the rest of my agenda.
Move to adjourn.
There's a second. Any further discussion?
before some,
All in favor?
I.
Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.